Welcome to Dolly Do-Overs. My name is Renee Galvin. Today we are going to be doing something super crazy and special. We are actually making a Kim Kardashian LOL doll. So first I start out with Honey Buns. She resembles Kim Kardashian in this picture a lot. We're actually going to do where she has the champagne going over her head. And so of course we start out with the most noticeable feature of the Kardashians, and we're going to start with their booty. Now if you watched our previous videos, most of the time we use a product called Sugaroo. Now this can be pricey if you use a lot of it, so since I knew I was going to be sculpting a lot in this one, I actually tried out a different product called Epoxy Sculpt. It's not as flexible as the Sugaroo is. It doesn't become a rubber substance, but it's more of a hardened clay, but it's a lot stronger than air dry clay, so we are actually working with that today. It's 2 parts, so you do have to mix them for it to become the right substance. So I just started out with rolled 2 balls, put them on each side of her, and then what I'm doing right now is just smoothing them out so that they match the same level of the skin. You don't want a lot of creases. Now this tool, you've seen me use it lots of times. It's super messy and one of my favorite ones. It is a silicone. It's actually for sculpting and for like fondant, and you can also use it for clay. So it's just a little silicone tool. Once we have the epoxy sculpt flat and flush with the skin, then we are going to start and make sure that this actually is going to fit the little miniature cup on her backside. So I'm just making sure that it fits, kind of making an indentation so it does stay wet since it is still wet and flexible. Then I put on her head and make sure that that does not get in the way of the cup. Just checking and making sure that it's going to work smoothly. Now we're going to start working on the front. Same product. We're just giving her a little bit of front, and I'm actually not using any of the LOL clothes. In this one, I'm actually sculpting it all. So the main thing to be worried about is to just make sure that her arms can move up and down once you put the epoxy sculpt on. So you'll see me move a lot around the arms and the armpits, and then you'll see me move the arms as well just to make sure I have a range of motion there. And like I say every time, I am so sorry I do not stay in the frame. Someday I will be an expert at that. I just get in the zone. Once we have that part complete, we are going to just double check and make sure that we are on the right track here. The dress is very fitting and slim. And so then we are going to start with the base. The base, I just used a wooden block that we already had. And I just start sculpting over it and creating the bottom of her dress that drapes over. I start with just a layer. I just have her standing on there at this moment, but I start with just a layer of the dress. And then what I do is I roll up little slivers into almost like little snakes. You'll see it here. And then I take that same silicone tool and I go through and then smooth it out. So this creates the waves and the motion of her dress draping over. So it has those folds in it. So it creates less work that you have to do with just making little snakes. And as long as you blend them in, it'll look totally perfect. Okay, so the next part looks kind of silly, but I will explain why we're doing this. So I made an arch just on a piece of paper, a scrap piece of paper, and made an arch to try to figure out where the champagne should go. It's very important that you measure that out. So that's basically what this is. It's just my measurement for it. Then I put that piece of paper underneath a thing of glass. So actually that paper is underneath the glass right now. Then we do the hot glue on top of the glass. Wait for it to cool, and I actually sprinkled some glitter in there because that's what I do. And so then we peel it off when it is nice and cool. Then I actually flip it over and do another thing of hot glue on the other side, just to give it so it's not flat on one side. Okay, so here now this has been a few hours and the epoxy sculpt has hardened, so now I'm able to paint it. It's a little different than sugar in that way that I only have to wait a few hours to paint it rather than 24 hours. So that's pretty awesome. I can work a lot faster. So this is just black acrylic paint. We always use acrylic paint. That's always something that we use. There's different types to use, but this one actually is Liquitex brand, just because that's what I already have. So we just cover the whole dress in the black Liquitex paint. I'm just going in with a smaller brush now to kind of clean up the details of places that I missed. And you can see that I also, if you look at the brick now, I actually took off the paint. I took, in the meantime, I took the sander and just sanded it down and took off the paint so it would be more wood-like hers. Okay, so now that everything has dried, I super glued the little cup on there, the glass, and then I put super glue and hot glue into the glass to make the hot glue adhere to the cup. Now, while that is curing, I'm going to work on her eyelashes, and I will tell you what, it's so hard. I don't know how people do it, but I did it. I just used fake lashes from the dollar store. I cut them up just to give her outside lashes a little bit of wing here. Then I used super glue, but you have to work very, very small and very carefully, and you have to hold them there, and they're really just a pain, but they come out beautiful. Look how amazing she looks. Now I'm gonna put on this champagne bottle. I got these off of Etsy. Just off of Etsy, I found a cute one that I liked, and that was for miniatures, so I purchased them a while back. Now, the champagne bottle we're going to put on our hand, and I used super glue to first get it on, and then I realized that the super glue wasn't holding as well as I had hoped, and so then, and look, there's eyelashes. Half of them everywhere. And so anyways, it wasn't working as well as I planned. So I then used hot glue over it. Now, you'll see that I put on the champagne here at this moment, but later you'll see that I took it off because I wasn't crazy about it. I wanted it to be more exact so that the champagne was dripping down. So I will change that in a little bit. But I wanted to kind of give you a blooper so you knew. So Duraclear varnish is what we always do all of the final sealing coats. It's not sticky, and it doesn't crack usually unless you use way too much or use the wrong kind, or if it's old. Those seem to be the common reasons that it cracks. But it works beautifully. And that just seals the paint on, so it's not going to chip, it's not going to scrape off. Now, she had little wispy hairs that and I'm rocking this awesome nail polish from my daughter from Mother's Day. It's blue awesome nail polish. And you can see that I've already taken off the hot glue. I didn't like it. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually trimming it just a tiny bit and cutting out a little slot so that the champagne actually drips down the bottle.
Oh my God, Renee, that looks amazing.
Well, thank you, Kim. Just kidding, that was a voice changing app. As always, if you like this video, please comment and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.